Welcome back to another edition of The Bolt. This month's edition is slightly different. I'm joined by Renaye Edwards, Ammunition's new Managing Director of Europe and our Global Chief Operating Officer. Welcome, Renaye.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And we're going to do this a little bit differently, a little bit get to know you. We're going to ask some personal questions, not too personal.
Yeah.
And then we're going to switch to why you're here, what we're doing, and make the conversation a little bit more about this, why we have a Global Chief Operating Officer and why we have a Managing Director of Europe and what it is we're doing here. First question on the list. Put you on the spot. 2 truths and a lie.
Okay. I've got 4 tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Singapore for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I love horses.
I feel like the horse one was a lie.
I've realised I've done all lies. Okay.
Well, what we've learned about you is you're honest.
Exactly.
Even when you try not
exactly.
to be. And I think we can leave it at that.
There we go.
Okay,
Fine.
next question
Here we
on the
go.
list. What's one thing we should know about you?
I should know about. I am incredibly loyal. So cross me once and you'll never hear from me again. Fiercely loyal.
I feel like
for
you're
team
talking
members.
to me right now. Good.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Don't cross Renaye.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in advertising, what would you be doing?
Oh, acting.
Acting?
Yeah.
What kind of acting?
Probably like screen acting. I mean, I can't act at all. I did a performing arts degree and I clearly was pretty terrible. But I just quite like the notion of, I don't know, it looks glamorous, doesn't it?
It does
It's
look
probably
glamorous,
not. But
yeah. You said clearly, but I don't know that it's that clear to anybody. We have no way of knowing.
No.
Yeah, you might have been great at it. We can't know.
Struggling actor.
Okay, so you are from London?
I like to call it Surrey.
Okay.
It's actually Portsmouth,
Okay.
which is a lovely place. It's a lovely place.
Sensing a hedge here.
Well, outskirts of Portsmouth. But yeah, basically, I just say Surrey because it,
People know where that
encompasses,
is.
yeah.
It's like people who
Sounds
say
a
they're
lot
in
more.
Atlanta, but they're like 45 miles north of
Basically, yeah. It sounds a bit more posher.
Okay, so if we are visiting London, or anybody watching this is visiting
Yep.
London, 3 must-do activities in London, not the outskirts, London.
Ooh, 3 must-do activities. Okay. I think you should hire a electric bike or Boris bikes.
Okay.
I think it's nothing like nearly getting run over and it's a joke. I just think it's a really good way of kind of getting around.
outrunning a big red bus on a bike.
Yeah. Basically
Nice,
that.
great.
Nice. Obviously, you've got to do the theatre. Like for me, I mean, I'm obviously a big theatre, but I just feel like we have got the best of the best in London. I mean, you've Broadway, but
Funny side story, though. So last time we were in London, we went and saw Matilda, which was delightful. But then our youngest daughter's school put on a Matilda play recently, and so we took the kids again, and they were just like in the crowd, just like critiquing this very well done kids production
Kids
of Matilda.
production.
So their experience watching it in London, as though these were apples to apples comparisons. But I agree, it was not just because it was a school production,
exactly.
but generally it's next level.
Yeah, it really is. And then third one, I'm not going to say something rubbish like that. I know you did the London Eye, but I'm not a great fan of heights, and I just feel like there's better things to do in London. I would say, no, not Madam, the Tate Gallery.
Oh, okay.
I just think there's something about the space and the creativity. I used to go there quite a lot, just in thinking time.
Okay. Well, as somebody who did ride the London Eye, it's delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is delightful.
True tourist style.
Unashamedly, we'll hit all the tourist attractions anywhere that I go. Okay, so next on our list, when we'll get to the end of the personal questions here soon, but if you had a celebrity play you in a movie about advertising, who would play you?
In a movie about advertising? Oh, who is the one that plays The Devil Wears Prada?
Oh, who played?
Miriam.
We're gonna look off camera. Meryl
Yeah.
Streep. Oh, okay.
I'm going with
Or Gwyneth Paltrow to me, though.
Oh, okay. I'll take Gwyneth. Yeah. Margot Robbie.
What a
Anyone?
What a
Anyone?
compliment off
Looks nice.
camera.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, that's a good one.
I'm going to go. I'm
Yeah.
thinking myself Margot
Okay.
Robbie.
Okay. Those are 3 Those are three quite iconic selections there.
All badass.
Do you know who
women.
I think would play me?
Who?
Guess.
I'm going to go with Robert Redford.
Oh, that's. Should I take that as a compliment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah.
I would go with Larry David.
Who's that?
Okay. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
No, don't.
I find I project an image that is not quite as grumpy as Larry David, but whenever I watch an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm like, that's me. That's me inside. That's me. That's not how I react outside.
Okay,
fine. That's how I feel.
All right,
yeah.
I need to see this to understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's bring it slowly to work.
Okay.
You obviously haven't always been with ammunition. This is new.
This is new.
Welcome.
Very new. Thank you.
A little bit, been in the making for a little bit, but new. Officially
new.
January. Yeah,
Officially
we're still
on
new.
payroll, as I keep reminding you from January.
So within that context,
Yes.
let's kind of rehash your work history here.
Yeah.
Bring us just at a high level. We don't have to go through every stop, but like help us understand your background, and then we'll get to how you ended up in ammunition.
How far am I going back? Like I started in the post room, basically.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started in the post room, a publishing company. At the time I was kind of, again, razzle dazzle, like media in itself was amazing to get into. Yes, I was in the post room. Yes, I was working for the Estates Gazette magazine, which was for surveyors and in property and commercial property. Exactly. Very sexy.
Yeah.
But it was a means the way in, and I kind of went up the ladder. Then I went into another, which would have been EMAP at the time. And they had both B2C magazines and they had B2B magazines. So I got through on a kind of a B2B data side of the business, and I was like, with a view to like working for OK Magazine, because that was that was the goal. But literally 2 weeks later, the B2C part of the business got sold to Bauer. So it was a bit of a shocker, and I just ended up again staying places, like I guess, but also becoming incredibly frustrated when I was working with agencies that. You very much had your strategic consultants at the time that would, give you a great plan, but then they'd leave you and you'd be left to kind of execute it. Or you had a creative agency which didn't truly get underneath the skin of the audience, my market, my product. So the idea was to obviously fill that gap in the market at the time and build the agency that I built.
So we skipped ahead slightly, but I think we were not doing justice to, you did start your own agency. You from scratch
with somebody else.
Yeah, with somebody else.
Not just me. Yeah.
Right. So you started your own agency. You didn't come originally from an agency background, which I think is always so interesting. And so we'll get back into you directly in a second. But I do often find the agency space is so unique, and we've certainly all known people who have never worked in advertising and they come into advertising and maybe it's not right for you. It is a little bit unique. And I think what's interesting about your background, and I'll let you talk about it here in a second, but like you came not from advertising, built an advertising agency from scratch with a partner, sold that agency, and now are obviously at another agency here at Ammunition. But can you talk a little bit about like that intention of no agency experience, hands-on? Obviously, you had hired agencies. You had a CMO role previously. You did that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your perspective on that kind of transition and why you thought y'all could build your own agency.
Yeah. So I think 15 years coming client side, just feeling, as I said, that just not getting what I needed to get. And so therefore kind of almost creating it. As I said, that strategic partner that was delivering end to end with you.
Yep.
And so literally when we first started up, we were selling ourselves, essentially. It was kind of like on a day rate. And we kind of said to ourselves, look, if we're still freelancing in a year's time, then we'll just go back client side again. And,
we tried.
The journey's over. We tried. But within that time, we were starting to kind of scale up and, it was mad. And, we didn't know the concepts of timesheeting. I mean, it really was a whole new world. Yeah. And we had a great partner, Spencer Matthews from Cactus, who just helped us from almost from a consultative basis. You need this. Also a great partner we work with, Tom Howe, just from you actually need to probably now hire a designer. We were like, oh, right, okay. Like literally as simple as that. Like what should your next hire be if you're building? And I know it sounds really stupid, but we really were coming at it from...
You get so heads down in the work, sometimes it's hard to
Exactly.
level up.
Yeah. And I think and we really were, because we were delivering, marketing plans.
It was just the two of you.
It was just two of
everything.
us.
Selling, running the business, doing the work, all of that.
Exactly.
People, right?
Yeah. And at the time, it very much was like heavy email campaigns and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but no, really exciting time. It was kind of like learn on the job, and in between that time, very quickly, I fell pregnant. And then it was like, God, there's only a few of us here. We had to hold all of that down. And then I came back after maternity after like 3 months. And then Lorna was like, I think I'm pregnant. So it was literally like hold the baton whilst trying to kind of build, and it was kind of slow organic growth. And then kind of COVID, we were very lucky where we had carved out a bit of a niche around kind of tech, B2B. It kind of worked. Everybody was migrating systems and platforms and things like that. And so therefore our clients grew. So we kind of grew with them. And I think we were incredibly, it's like anything, isn't it? It's sometimes about timing, sometimes about hard graft, sometimes, what's the market doing? It's, the people that you're with, the relentless kind of having that, relentless ambition, I guess.
And the Radish timeline was how long?
Yeah, so 10, 11 years.
10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from scratch, built for 10, 11 years.
From scratch, 10,
exited.
11 years, yeah.
It's not nothing. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, I just can't even believe it was me. Like some of my favourite times were literally like being on the dance floor at Be At One. Those people who are UK based will know this particular bar, but we'd all be on the dance floor. And I would just stand back and I'd be like, I can't, like, I'm paying these people's mortgages. Like, this is just mad. Like, they're believing to choose to come to work every Monday morning because of myself and because of Lorna. Like, it still blows my mind that people believed in us.
I think that's it's interesting. We could probably spend a lot of time talking about that. We've got employees off camera here, so maybe we'll tread lightly.
There is that,
and I guess everybody else can listen afterwards. But I do think there is that. It's interesting, and so I think it's worth diving into maybe a little bit more detail around. Certainly, there's just the gravity of starting a company. Full stop. Right? Like it starts where it's your company.
Yeah.
It's you and a partner, but you being responsible for your own livelihood.
Absolutely.
That's already daunting. And like, how do you generate enough revenue to even pay those bills? And then,
why do you think I'm working for you now? No, it's not my problem.
We'll get to that. I don't know how true that statement is. It's at least a shared effort.
Yes.
I think so. There's that, and then there is that moment where it's like, wait, you make that first hire, and even if it's like a junior designer, and that salary in the grand scheme of things isn't that high, it still feels like all the money in the world. I think I told a story internally recently about remembering like the early days of ammunition and like fretting over buying like an appliance for the office when we were in a WeWork, and like that felt like a ton of money at the time, because of the risk like deploying that capital was, even on such a small expense, relatively speaking.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there's the gravity of the responsibility, both to self but then to others.
Yeah.
And then it only multiplies over time.
It really does, yeah.
Right? And so I think I've had those moments too, where it's like you're sitting there in a room full of people and it's like, shit. Like,
squeaky bum. We spoke about this yesterday, this phrase, squeaky bum, yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's especially, so I've always been a nerd for advertising. We've talked about that. We've talked about it here in this room. Your background is different. And I do think that's where that those stakes are even higher, right? Like I at least felt like I came from an agency background. I had some inertia in that space. I was connected to that audience, both in terms of talent and potential clients who knew me from, working in the business for 15 plus years, whatever it was. It's a big jump. It's a big jump going from, and so I guess I'm curious, where did the, we could call it audacity, but maybe it's the ambition to say, I've worked, let's call it client side for so long. And then you wake up one day and say, I mean, truth be told, at some level, whether you said it this way or not, like I can do it better.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit from the client seat, what you felt agencies were missing relative to what marketers were demanding, and why that opened kind of a space in the market for you to do something?
Yeah, I think it does. It just goes back to fusing the consultant with the creative agency. I think for me, that just felt so disconnected. That your data and insight is, it should be informing how it's not creative for creative's sake, and I think that sometimes creative agencies can disappear up their own backsides on this, when actually this is about, understanding the audience in so much detail that what you're putting out there is going to resonate and it's going to be differentiated enough because you've done all of that kind of market research up front. And I think I just felt like there was just this disconnect. Obviously, the market's moved on. Agencies have planners now. That's kind of a given. But at the time, so the agency kind of did have to evolve because what once was a USP for us wasn't. But we definitely held that kind of strategic partner element to it. So we weren't a very hands-off agency. We were, rightly or wrongly, profit margins were very kind of deeply ingrained inside our clients, and which I just think was so important to the retention part of it, and it made complete sense to kind of do it that way because we knew that a lot of marketeers had pressure of kind of delivering KPIs, and coming from a client's side business, we understood the commercial impact and we had understood that. So I think that made, again, we were quite unique, starting to talk very early about KPIs. Again, we all talk about KPIs, but back then it was, we were very early in those journeys around SQOs. It was a lot of the time people were just taking people out on hospitality days and just kind of, going, oh, that's marketing kind of thing. You're the pens and crayons lady, all of that sort of stuff. It's
interesting because like what I hear when you say that is, and we see it right with agencies all the time. Sometimes it's the work for the sake of doing the work versus remembering why the work is being done to begin with and what those outcomes are that they're meant to achieve. I think that's one of the reasons why this feels like a good fit, right? And why we've obviously decided to do business together is it's that shared mindset around we're not here for the sake of doing creative.
Yes.
If creative is the right solution to a meaningful business challenge, 100% we're going to do that all day long, and we're going to do our very best work. But it's not always the case that like the work for the sake of the work is really not the priority. It is a marketing decision to support a business objective.
Exactly.
And I think that's certainly your, as you just said, way of thinking about it, and it certainly was your agency's way of thinking about that as well.
Definitely.
So I think those synergies align to kind of how Ammunition thinks, and I think kind of inform some of our early conversations.
Definitely, absolutely. And I think, we partnered on, or we would partner with teams on the execution part. So it felt like that we didn't have enough control over that. And I think that's the kind of beauty of kind of Ammunition, that we are integrating dashboards and things like that. So we are able to kind of really track the impact that kind of we're making, I think. So I feel like that it's always something that's been a bit of a bugbear of mine.
And so I assume it's safe to say the reason why you set up your agency the way that you did based on what you just said was when you were sitting in that CMO seat, you didn't feel like agencies were providing that level of clarity into, okay, we did the thing, but did it do what we set out to do when we wrote the brief?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, I think some of that's rooted obviously in the Ammunition ethos in terms of talking about like whether it's the change happen language or that kind of stuff where we talk. It's not the website for the sake of a website or an ad campaign for the sake of doing an ad campaign. As much fun as all of that stuff is, it is always intended to tie back to some meaningful difference we can have or impact we can have on a business.
Definitely.
Which kind of, maybe hopping around a little bit now takes us to, if we fast forward a few steps, our conversation, I guess August. Earlier than August.
No, I think it was later than August.
Sometime in 2025.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Ammunition had an opportunity to support one of our key clients in Europe. And so as we were kind of laying the groundwork for how we would think about doing that, obviously you were one of, I think it's probably worth underscoring. I knew you.
Yes,
we knew each other before we started having these conversations, which is why I called you that day to say, wait, we're coming to Europe. We've got to do work.
We're coming.
What do we need to know?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of those just interesting stars aligning moments around, okay, are you looking for a new opportunity? Is there an opportunity for us to do this together in a really meaningful way? Talk a little bit about that moment.
Yeah, I think, when we were discussing, I was actually really looking forward to hanging up my corporate heels and at least for like 3 weeks, maybe being a lycra mum.
I remember you saying that. Yeah. How did that go?
I just don't want to maybe, just have some free time to think about life and myself.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Yeah, not that well. Turns out, I was on a plane to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think, What was the question again? Sorry.
In terms of just that moment where we first started having the conversation.
Yeah, and I think for me it was just so exciting. I think, again, for context, we had flirted with the idea of, we knew that we needed to expand into the US. And
on the reverse, when you were at your agency.
When I was, exactly. We needed to, and for whatever reason, it didn't happen. So it was a bit of an itch of mine that needed to be scratched. And I think when you kind of came to me and this is like, this is what we're doing, and I coupled with the fact that I think from our early conversations, I think that it became clear that we both were two very ambitious people, and I felt like that there truly was a kind of deep level of respect for one another, and I think that goes a long way, because I'm not sure I could. A lot of people have kind of said to me, "Can you really see yourself working for somebody else?" Like after 13 years of not, like I feel like that's a fairly big thing.
Sure, yeah.
So I think
it's not a hard mental switch to make, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah. So without blowing too much smoke,
no, go ahead.
I don't give compliments too easily. I just felt like we are going on a really ambitious journey, and I feel like there's already not only the momentum already in motion, there is this huge desire, and this is not just coming from you. We've obviously just done the employee survey, right? And as I said to you, I feel like you should be incredibly proud of that, because actually sometimes hearing it from the founder, but actually the people that were on the ground actually delivering the work, echoing a lot of that. So I really felt like actually when I saw those results, I was like, actually he's not speaking crap.
Yeah. It's a very agency CEO thing to do, to make up the narrative and then hope that it's true. Yeah. Yeah. Not that I don't do that sometimes, but try to make it as rooted in fact as we can.
Oh yeah, I'm learning about you. So
so as we talk about that ambition of ammunition and what it is that we're doing, maybe just from my side of the room here. I think one of the opportunities certainly was we were given a very compelling excuse to expand into Europe, right? Like this was not some vanity play. We woke up one day and said, wouldn't it be cool if we could say we had an office in London, and then hope it works. And so I think there are two things that I think are very important to make sure folks understand. Number one, this is a long-term bet for ammunition. This is not a ammunition headquartered in Atlanta, and then we have this London outpost. Like there's a reason your title has global in it, right? This is meant to be a integrated offering with both offices working together as one to support clients who, whether there's a center of gravity in London where we can work with clients on the ground in that market the way we do here in Atlanta, the US, doing the same, and whether it's London or across Europe, certainly we can provide value. I think the other side of that is obviously the brands who have DNA that also mirror that infrastructure, where maybe they have a North American operation, but they also have a European operation, and they need one agency partner who can really help make sure all of that is working together in a meaningful way. The good news for us is we're not having to sell that proposition. That's actually the proposition a client handed us a brief for, that then said, okay, now we want to do this. We want to do it super well. We want to move very quickly. We want to be able to own the entirety of that process. Certainly we could have depended almost exclusively on agency partners in those regions, but certainly the bet for us was, I think for us to be most nimble, to provide the greatest impact, was we're going to do this as much as we can, truly ourselves as brand ammunition, if you will. We're going to build the infrastructure. We're going to hire the people. We're going to build the local market expertise in-house. Certainly there's nuance relative, obviously, to localization, and does that message really resonate in Germany the way it should in France or the UK or whatever, and some of that nuance where we will inevitably lean on local market experts to try to help kind of adapt and shape and all of that.
Absolutely.
But in terms of kind of that excuse for us to say, wait a second, this is a brand we do a lot of work with, they need this support, and then looking down the client roster to say, wait, there are a lot of brands that we work with who function very similarly. And if we had that infrastructure, how much more valuable could we really be to them? And then certainly from a new business standpoint and the value add that we now are, I think, in the market as a whole, having that infrastructure in place to be able to, whether it's brands in Europe who want to come to North America or brands in North America who want to go to Europe, certainly there's a lot of value now that we can provide in terms of the work that we do in these more complicated complex marketplaces, but also doing that for brands who operate in both of those markets. And the way we've kind of started talking about, at least internally, is helping them move as one, whether regardless of geography. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm curious your perspective on somebody who is one of those local market experts now on the ground for us in Europe. How do you see the difference in the markets? Obviously, we've been talking for, let's call it a few months now, before you even started, about the opportunity and how we think about it. But now, 2 months in, let's call it, at Ammunition, like what is your perspective on U.S. market versus European market, and kind of how we balance those two working together the right way?
Yeah, and I think what I constantly see is that sort of US kind of global budgets, but then having very localized pressure, and I think and kind of fragmented teams across the board, and being having a kind of a central, you're trying to kind of keep consistent with your message at a high level, but how do you keep the consistency, but actually have a message that's actually going to really resonate with that particular market? I think there's definitely an art to that, and the same for things like kind of budget allocation and things like that. Again, it's looking at channels as well as creativity as well. We know that in Germany, for example, trade shows and looking at the whites of people's eyes and, using things like Zing instead of LinkedIn, there are so many nuances within market, which, I think sometimes brands can be completely tone deaf to. I think it's very easy for a playbook to sometimes be delivered in the US and kind of go, okay, you can, here you go, regional, execute. And okay, you're allowed to change an image in there, or you can swap out US for UK and take out your Zs and things like that. When I think in reality, like if you actually want something to really land in market and differentiate yourself, like looking exactly the same as every other category, right?
100%.
You can also see it from a mile off. So I think, again, just getting that, not only the kind of from a budget perspective, but also looking at the markets themselves, like how mature are those markets in terms of whatever category it is that you're kind of playing into. How mature are they? And how is your sales team structured around that as well? And just making sure that, do you have a marketing person in there, or say like how's that kind of working? And I think sometimes budgets can just be spread so thin, or that there's no method behind. A
little bit of spray and pray from the US and hope it all lands
exactly.
when it gets in
Sorry
the market.
to say,
right? No,
and it's diluted.
100%.
Like the whole thing gets diluted because you're stretching budgets so thin. It's like, for me, I'm all about precision, and kind of going, right, where do we have the right to win? Where are we going to be able to turn quickest? And I think you've got the long, you factor in there the long game and the short game there, and brand build versus demand, for example, and obviously doing research into those countries and what how salient your brand is within those markets. So, for example, if you've only got 5% penetration, do you chuck more brand in there versus lead gen? There's so much to it.
Well, I think what's also kind of interesting, you use kind of like the social example, right, in terms of different platforms and different markets, and I think it can be so easy in the US to just assume that the tools we use are the ones everybody's using with the same degree of adoption, and to be able to be an agency partner, as silly as the example is, right? I'm not trying to hang our hat on this as a reason, but being able to understand the nuanced difference of we didn't just make a LinkedIn playbook and then hand it off and say good luck, and then immediately, not only does the agency not look like it really gets the market, but now the brand doesn't look like it gets the market, and the sales team doesn't feel like they can trust marketing, and then marketing looks silly. Like it really allows us to function as a local market expert, because now that's coming into the DNA of the agency holistically. Right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
What do we need to know about Europe different from the US?
Oh God, there's so much. So much.
We don't have that much time, so you gotta narrow it down.
Not too much shouting. Shouty words.
Sometimes we're a little chest beaty here in the US.
I guess quite elegant, reserved.
Yeah.
Not to say that's a bad thing, right? You know? Versus, yes, I think, again...
It's interesting that the Europeans' point of view is that the difference between the US and Europe is Europe's just a little bit classier. Yeah.
And the fact that Europe is sometimes also classed as
Yeah.
it's just one market in itself, when, my God,
Yes.
it's so different.
Admittedly, I think I fell victim to that when we first started scheming
Interesting,
out.
yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit it, I think, now that it's coming out of my mouth. But I think when we first started thinking about this opportunity with our client and going to Europe, and it just felt like, we're just going to Europe. And I think at first blush, that's how we all kind of read it. And then we started like layering in and kind of understanding and kind of starting to say, well, what are we going to do in Germany versus the UK versus Spain versus Benelux. I didn't even know the Benelux abbreviation before we started digging into this. That's
we
an
are
American,
experts,
actually. Growth means a lot of things, and I think for us, this isn't blowing smoke, and a lot of smoke and mirrors say yes, we can do it, and I think our clients feel that from us as well. This is we're going to get very smart about this. We're going to hire the right people. We're going to build the right infrastructure. We're going to learn the right ways to do this. And we're going to go to market correctly. And
it's working with not only your people on the ground, but also, going out, and we've done a lot of this is kind of testing within markets, like with the actual buyers. Because I think, again, yes, you can take an internal perspective, but actually is it going to resonate? Is it tone deaf? I've had so many near misses by, before without doing the testing stage, right?
Yeah.
I was speaking to Chris yesterday about, that we were like all patting ourselves on the back with this like amazing kind of creative, and these 2 feet were kind of touching on this thing, and it went out to Asia, and it was like, absolutely not. You're showing feet. That's disrespectful. Like,
Yes. And so when you're an ambitious brand with an ambitious remit to go to Europe and do this thing, and then you make little mistakes like that. Depending on the degree of the mistake, how much does that negatively impact your credibility or set you back from your goals? And it can come anywhere, right? It can come in a piece of creative like you just shared. It could be a headline that doesn't stick the right way, or the little slang nuance doesn't translate correctly or means something completely different. Which is actually one of my favorite things about our European integration is I don't know how many you can remember offhand real quick, but the different phrases. So we have a new thing for those watching here at Ammunition. Every Monday, somebody from Europe shares a phrase. That is very European that nobody in the U.S. has probably heard, and then we do the same.
Back.
So I've heard one.
Tinkle on the blower, or blower on the.
Is it tinkle on or in? I keep messing that up. Tinkle on the blower.
Yeah. I mean, I just say
I'm
give
curious.
you a buzz. Like I'm not that came
we would
from
say
Chris.
that here too. But the tinkle on the blower, I feel like is that's very niche.
Yeah, it's quite niche. I feel like what other ones do we have?
We'd be remiss not to share what tinkle on the blower means. Now that it's hung for a second, I'm curious if anyone's pieced it together. If now the big reveal is going to be
tinkle on the blower. Yeah,
it means give me a call.
Yeah. What else did you think it was?
Well, if you listen to it literally, it might mean a lot of things. But I wasn't sure when it first came through.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we have weird ones that I feel like are more
what were your
obvious.
ones?
Like I think somebody sent back, "Knock it out of the park."
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a lot.
We have a lot.
Like there's a
lot of sports metaphors is a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to remember off camera here.
Having a chin wag. Yeah. No, that was
chin wag.
Chat.
Yeah, I was on the phone with somebody in London recently. Got exposed to the phrase "willy waving," but we'll let folks Google that one for themselves, or don't.
Yeah.
You'll figure
someone thought it was willy wangling. I'm like, no, it's willy waving. We used it a lot, being a female-led
Here's what I will say about now working in London. I've never used the word willy so many times on the phone as I have with people in London. So there's that, for whatever that's worth. That is something new at Ammunition.
There we go. Yeah. Exactly.
We'll see if editing leaves this part.
Avoid the willy wavers.
Yes. Okay. What is something that I haven't asked or we haven't talked about that you think we would be remiss? Personal, professional, growth of Ammunition.
Yeah, I think I mean, for me, I feel like I probably know the answer to this question, but I think for me, what's the final destination?
Oh, you're asking me the question. Okay. Final destination for Ammunition. We've talked about this a lot. I feel like this was part of your question to determine if you're even going to work here. I think ammunition. I mean, I like to think we are on a mission to build something truly iconic. I'll preface before we get too far into it that like whether we do or not is irrelevant to the ambition. That I think there are certainly a lot of great agencies in the world, but I think agencies that can truly measurably deliver growth for clients, solve meaningful business problems, who can do that then at scale.
Yeah.
It's part of why we're investing so much in this notion of being able to truly be a global independent, is I think to work on the kinds of brands that I want to see us working on, to support the brands we're already supporting in a way that provides the greatest impact we can. There are just certain things that have to be true. We have to have certain resources. We have to have certain people. Obviously hiring people like you and additive to the team, right? As an obvious example in this conversation, right? And your background and how additive that is in terms of what we're building. Other people we've obviously hired on the ground in London already, and what that means to the business. I mean, just to talk about London and get off topic for a second, I mean, just like the talent center there is insane. And so the ability to leverage that and bring the stuff and leverage that for clients here in the U.S. is also a huge opportunity. And so being able to truly have, whether it's for clients or for an employee base, like two meaningful centers of gravity with really compelling talent in different markets, with different backgrounds and different specializations, I think it's just huge both ways. Yeah. And so I think that makes us have a better hiring pool than we would have otherwise. And it's not in a way like I could imagine people watching this, but we could just hire them and let them work remote. Like, sure, but there's something so different, and I know you and Chris have felt that coming to Atlanta this week, around just like being in office, understanding the culture, drinking the Kool-Aid at some level, like really understanding the ambition. It's different, and you wouldn't get that having somebody working in their office alone and who never came in and really understood. So I think to the question, where are we going? What are we doing? I think we're building a global independent powerhouse that's built to serve brands that operate in these more complex environments. We've lovingly referred to them as brands that are hardworking brands that need a hardworking agency, and I think that's who we are and who we are built to serve, and who we're continuing to build ourselves to serve better and better every single day. And I think London's just another example of that. Yeah,
and to go back to your point just very quickly on that, and I think again, unlike and you've always said this, London isn't just an offshoot. It's not Ammunition London. I'm very much kind of feeling, which, as you said, that kind of the title that you gave me last minute around the COO alongside of the MD, I think was, like you said, it was very intentional, and it does very much feel like one team, where, we've got people working on clients over here and vice versa. It doesn't mean to say that the location should determine what client base you have. So I think from my perspective, I think that feels quite different to how some other agencies are operating, when it feels very much sometimes that you're talking to lots of different separate teams. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to close with a few questions. Now back to the original format.
Okay, great.
Let's go. You're getting your feet underneath you at Ammunition. Biggest surprise now that you're here from what you might have expected 3 months ago?
Biggest surprise.
It could be good or bad, but since this is on camera, I'd prefer.
I'm going to go for the good one. Yeah, exactly. I think, as I said, I'm not sure whether it's surprise, but I did talk about it earlier, obviously. But the as I said, the employee survey, I feel like feeling like it was people were answering it and were very aligned. There wasn't like multiple different answers, and surprise. It really did feel like that everybody was working towards this one journey, and everybody knows where they're kind of going. And I think, again, I feel like that's obviously a testament to kind of all the leadership here, not just yourself. I think also the level of kind of expertise for technology and within production. Like, I just feel like, it feels very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very grown up and very, I can't think of the word.
It wasn't made up. It's a real story that people are actually executing.
Exactly. And how great to be like, right, you know, I'm working for an Emmy Award-winning production company. Do you know what I mean? It's some of the brands there that, you know, we're working with. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, the risk of sounding like I'm trying to be promotional of the agency. I mean, I think what I hear when you say that is, I think a lot of agencies make a lot of claims.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're true, and sometimes they might be true but very shallow in terms of how real some of those claims can be. And I think ammunition certainly makes a lot of bold claims. And if I were on the outside looking in, I might be suspect because I've been trained to be suspect.
Yeah,
like, wait, is that true? Like every agency says they are full service and they do production. But like what we all know is production is often outsourced to a production studio. And so to be able to have a production studio of the caliber that we have.
Exactly.
Not because we just hired some editors one day and said we do production now.
Yeah.
Like, we actually hired a proven best in class partner of the agency at the time when we acquired them. And brought that in and can just offer that as just part of our integrated offering.
Exactly.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah, I can understand where on a phone call 3 months ago I said, yeah, no, we do that. And then it's like, wait, do we? And then being able to kind of see it and feel it is different.
Same for the developers and technology. You know, I think it's easy for, you know, so many freelance developers, people to be able to kind of pull in and as and when agencies kind of need, but to have those boots on the ground that are truly ammunition, I think is very rare.
Yeah. Well, I would be right, because so many agencies, again, say they do development.
Yeah.
But, and it's not a lie, right? Like, it's not disingenuous.
No,
they're often called on to do landing pages and emails and HTML5 banner ads and whatever the things are. And yes, they hire developers. Our guys, like, we're like software engineers. Like, it's next level. Yeah. The kind of stuff that they can build and the stuff we do regularly build for our clients.
And I think I had underappreciated that part for sure.
Yeah, of course. Because, I mean, you know, whether, I wonder if devs watch this, but like no agency got famous for that line of code, right? Like, for better or worse, it's just not the thing that's in the limelight. No. The final execution, then kind of creative gets to take credit for it because like it's what they did, it's what it looks like, it's what it feels like. But like the ability for it to do the thing it needs to do to begin with is huge. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, that's a big deal.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, very visible.
Right. And so I think what I love about what that means for ammunition, and I hope clients who engage us or will engage us in the future also feel, is it's truly all here, right? It's truly one integrated thought partner aligned with your business, understanding what it is that you do, and then able to carry all that execution through and truly own the entirety of that execution. So before Europe, it was about the capabilities and our intent was we wanted to own the entirety of the capability of the execution, the entire throughput from idea to execution, outcome to output, as we started talking about it internally. Yep. And we've carried that now over into geography as well. So wherever you need to go, we also want to make sure we've got that same level of throughput. We're not outsourcing the responsibility. We're taking full ownership of the outcomes that we're being hired to generate for our clients.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. CMO Renaye, back in the day, would feel how about ammunition in a pitch?
Ooh. She would be skeptical because it's full service, and you know we are often taught to look for niche kind of expertise. I would be thinking, what else would I be thinking? Yeah, can you truly measure outcomes?
Yep.
Because a lot of people say it.
Yep.
How can I believe it?
Yep.
And I think, again, I'm just surprising at the level of dashboards that we're creating and you know, looping all these different kind of technology systems to give one view. Again, surprising. So, yeah, sorry, I'm digressing here. But yeah, it's that. I think probably those things with my little skeptical head on.
Yeah, skeptic. But see, I would say this is something we didn't talk about that is very unique about at least the UK market is the skepticism.
Oh yeah, borderline negative. I know.
It's a tough crowd to win over.
I know.
Yeah.
It is a tough. It is a real tough crowd. I have to say.
I would argue
chipping away at me basically.
I think for me though, like it's a good thing, right? Like I think being able to then answer the harder questions, like be forced to dig in deeper, to really prove it, to really, because I think I don't want to say we can gloss over that because that is absolutely not true. Like,
no,
every single client we talk to ask the same discerning questions you're asking. But the skepticism in the UK market, I think, has, in a very positive way, forced us to dig, like certainly in conversations you and I have about like pitches and stuff, like, just the level of granularity and be able to truly take the time to like prove the
it.
work.
Yeah, and every time you'd say something, I'd be like, prove it, Jeremy.
Yeah,
like, tell me, give me an anecdote.
I think that's where the multi-market thing creates a better agency.
I do as well.
Because you can get in an echo chamber of, well, this is what this market wants. And so you build yourself
Downhill
to serve
spiral.
that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily work in another market.
Yeah.
And so not only is that impactful for the agency and how we build ourselves, but I think that's a key insight into how we help support brands go to those markets as well. We were working with a brand, and I won't say who it is. They will know who it is if they're watching it.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how we bring them to Spain. And one of the questions from the head of sales for the Spanish market was like, we can't say the name. Like we literally we can't say that word in this market. It doesn't. There's no way to say that.
Yeah.
And so like even at that level, it's like you could understand if you weren't paying that level of attention, you might run an ad and people don't know how to say the thing they want to buy.
No.
I don't know. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's a good pressure test for what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then how we bring that same level of care, intention, and specificity to the brands that we serve in those markets.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Any final words?
No, go hard or go home.
Okay, great. Are you familiar with the newest thing we do to close these out?
Oh God,
go hard or go home's good. Yeah. One hot take.
From
anything you want. I can make it more specific, but we've been closing these out with a hot take. Just something. It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that audacious. It doesn't even have to be that controversial. But just like an opinion you have. Oh. No one's going to change your mind. It's Renae's hot take. What is it?
Yeah, I think for me, the word hyper personalization and growth hacking need to be banished.
Ooh.
Like hyper personalization, basically just targeted marketing. Why do we need to call it hyper personalization?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? And sorry, another one, I'll keep going, but like grassroots, like let's just do a viral campaign like for 5K and get famous off the back of it. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Growth hacking, though, you skipped over that one.
Growth hacking. It's just one of those, but it's just such a bloody buzzword, isn't it? Okay. It really is. It's just like, let's just growth hack this. Like again.
It feels dramatic though. It feels cool.
Well, I know it's type of thing US. Well, exactly.
I don't think we've ever used it though. To be super clear, I'm not passionate about it.
Hadn't, no,
I think I generally agree with your hot takes. I don't think I have any pushback on this. Not that I think I would share them either way.
What's yours?
Hot take. I have a hot take right now it's a hot take, so no one can judge me. I think we are expecting too much of AI right now.
Yeah.
I think it's incredible. I think it's obviously we are deploying it at scale. Ammunition is using it everywhere that we can.
Yeah.
Again, not to cut people out of process, but to support our people. I can't underscore that enough. It is about supporting our people with another tool.
Yeah.
But I think the more we use it, the more we realize, to me, it feels, at least in written word, that it's more algorithmic than we would have thought originally. I think maybe I was naive. I always thought the promise of AI was like this empirically true, objectively right knowledge source.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing, at least now in early iterations, is it learns what it thinks you want to hear. And I think you and I could have like a back and forth with AI on the same issue.
We can't. I'm starving hungry.
No. I mean, literally. And then I think we could take the same issue and debate it with AI and get two very different outcomes.
Yes.
And it would make you feel 100% right, and it would make me feel 100% right, and it brings people further apart from each other because we're kind of naive to say like, no, but AI told me I was right, and it does tell you right. It's like, oh my God, Renaye, you are so right to feel that way.
Yeah.
And then it tells you all the things you need to do to.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so we've started to deploy a little bit of, or at least I have. If you want to have a hard conversation, come in my office and let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to accidentally end up in this like back and forth. Did AI give you that? Did AI tell you to say that to me? Like, come in here and like let's debate this.
Yeah.
I think the same is true of the work. So to bring it full circle back to the work, I think that's the risk, and certainly the opportunity is to ensure we're using AI to support us, but we don't lose track of the fact that we have to be the experts who know better.
Yes.
At least until the robots rise up and are running everything. So
this is it.
Okay. Thanks for being here.